What is citizen science? Citizen science is defined as the collection and analysis of data relating to the natural world by members of the general public, typically as part of a collaborative project with professional scientists. It involves observing, questioning, planning, analyzing, and communicating this data. From the SciStarter website on citizen science, it says, "Science is our most reliable system of gaining new knowledge, and citizen science is the public involvement in inquiry and discovery of new scientific knowledge. A citizen science project can involve one person or millions of people collaborating towards a common goal. Typically, public involvement is in data collection, analysis, or reporting." A citizen scientist is an individual who voluntarily contributes his or her time, effort, and resources towards scientific research in collaboration with professional scientists or alone. These individuals don't necessarily have a formal science background. Some famous citizen scientists include Benjamin Franklin, who is not only a founding father, but also a citizen scientist. Mary Anning is another famous citizen scientist. On the 10th of December, 1823, she found the first complete plesiosaurus. In 1828, she found the first British example of the flying reptile known as pterosaurs, originally called a flying dragon when it was displayed at the British Museum. Despite her limited education, she read as much of the scientific literature as she could obtain, and often she hand-copied papers borrowed from others. Citizen scientists can come in all ages. A great example of this is Christopher Wolfe, son of paleontologist Doug Wolfe. He discovered the first Zuniceratops when he was just 8 years old, and the species is even named after him. Christopher is still active in making new discoveries 20 years later. Let's check in and see one of his recent findings.
So I walked up and I saw this and recognized it as bone. And I noticed that there was a bunch more, but it took me about a minute to realize that from here to here, and going probably at least back to here, is a large limb bone. And there's another piece that's separated by additional matrix, which suggests that this could actually be a very large tibia and fibia. So it's an articulated tibia and fibia. It's got to be at least 1 meter long.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you.
Good find.
I think it might be theropod.
Christopher now works at the Zuni Dinosaur Institute for Geosciences, which is located on Main Street in Springerville, Arizona. The website is zdig.org. And his father, paleontologist Doug Wolfe, and mother Hazel also work at the same institute. People are always asking me, how can I get involved? I want to take my family or my kid, and they want to look for dinosaurs. Well, if you live in the southwest United States, I couldn't think of a better place than ZDig. So check those guys out and check out their website. I've been on excavations with them into the Chinle Formation, which is dated about 223 million years old at the dawn of the dinosaurs. While I've yet to discover a new species of dinosaur, I did find lots of phytosaur teeth, assorted bones, and this lungfish burrow. I gotta warn you though, conditions aren't always like you see in the pictures. Check out this example from one of the recent excavations. If paleontology is your thing, these are some great, inexpensive books to help get you started. My experience with citizen science started a few years ago when I was fishing with my son at a lake about 100 miles from our home here in Arizona. One day I looked down and just happened to see some tracks in the sandstone. A couple weeks later I went back and found some more tracks. I had 3 days off in a row that summer, so I set up camp and I would go back and forth, spending 2 or 3 days a week looking for more tracks. This is a view from the camp along the edge of the Mogollon Rim. Not too bad when it's over 100 degrees at home. That summer, the first summer, I found 12 sets of tracks, and by the end of the third year I'd found 22 sets. Now we're up to 94. I started working with Dr. Spencer Lucas, who's a curator of paleontology at the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science. I contacted Dr. Lucas because he was the author of most of the papers published on Permian footprints found in the Southwest. This past spring, we gave a poster presentation at the Geological Society of America convention in Flagstaff, Arizona, announcing that there were 2 different types of tracks that had never been found in the Coconino Sandstone before. I was also lucky enough to go with a group of scientists down into the Grand Canyon on a guided tour where we got to see some tracks that had just fallen from up above in the Coconino Sandstone down into the canyon below. When we have special events at the Arizona Museum of Natural History, I set up a table where I talk about the tracks and how the unique tracks were discovered just 100 miles from right here in Mesa, Arizona. Dr. Lucas and I have a 5-year permit from the federal government to collect and study the tracks, since they were found here on federal land. Just last week, I delivered 7 more sets of tracks to the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science research facility located in Albuquerque. We had previously collected 9 sets of tracks from the site, so now we have a total of 16, plus 4 plaster casts that were made of tracks that we couldn't collect. Their museum research facility has the largest collection of Permian tracks in the world, with hundreds and hundreds of sets of tracks. I spent 2 days looking at almost all the tracks in the collection, especially the ones around the same time period as the tracks that I found. Now, the tracks that I found are 270 million years old, so we're talking about pre-dinosaur tracks. These are reptiles, amphibians, and mammal-like reptiles. I did get to see lots of dinosaur tracks, though, like this massive cast of a hadrosaur track. I also was able to study the fossilized remains of mammal-like reptiles who were alive at the period that the tracks I found were made. In addition to bones and tracks, we also have fossils like this coprolite from the Permian era. Here I'm using Google Earth Pro to determine the thickness of the Coconino Sandstone and the elevation of its base near the site where I discovered the tracks. Once we can locate the elevation of the top of the layer before it eroded away and the bottom of the layer and compare that to the elevation of the tracks, we get a better estimate of their actual age. The research is still ongoing, but Dr. Lucas and I will be publishing some papers soon. Once the research is wrapped up, I'll be doing another video, kind of like this one where I show the discoveries from start to finish, but there'll be a lot more information, specific information, on what animals might have made the tracks and the importance of the different types that we found that were never found in the Coconino Sandstone before. So all this research started with citizen science, but I also want to stress the importance of working with a professional every step of the way. If paleontology is your thing, look to see if you have a local paleo society or talk to your local museum paleontologist to see what opportunities there might be. There are also a lot of great online resources like citizenscience.gov, the California Academy of Sciences, the Citizen Science page on the National Science Foundation website. Plus, there are citizen science associations located all over the world. When it comes to paleontology, though, know the local regulations where you live. You can't just go out and collect fossils anywhere. You have to pay attention to the laws and the regulations on both private and public land. My goal is to inspire people like me who thought for most of their life they never really have a chance to go out and do things they love and help make a difference. You do have that chance. Just make sure you go about it the right way. Whether it's paleontology, astronomy, or climate change, there's lots of resources out there to help you.